My next guests are examples of how people come to the aid of fatherless children. Nyesha Jones believes that God blessed her with the presence of her stepfather. Antonio Griffin has become a father to 3 children who are not his own. 3. And Shaneé Moore, who grew up without her father, hoped all her life that the man she would marry would be in the image of her uncle. I want to thank all of you for being on Washington Watch.
Thank you.
All right, then. First off, Shaneé, I want to start with you because I know that feeling in terms of having to be that father figure for my nieces, even when it comes to dealing with my nephews as well. And so you grew up and your uncle was there. I mean, he was on it. So tell us about him. What kind of man was he?
Yes, my uncle, he still is a great man. I grew up, my father lived in another state, so I didn't have that daily fatherly interaction with him, which left a void for me at a very young age. I heard in the past someone say, if you grew up without a father, you always have a void in your heart that's in the shape of your father. But I found that my uncle made the difference in that for me. He is a man of great integrity. Not only was he a father, or is he a father figure to me, but also to the other young people in my church and in my community. And I think what set him apart was that I saw the interaction between he and my aunt, and how he respects her, and how he treated her with so much affection. Public affection.
So by not having a father, you obviously didn't see it between mom and dad, but your aunt and uncle showed you the way, showed you what it's supposed to look like, what a couple loving, a couple embracing is supposed to look like.
Exactly, because growing up, I was taught what I didn't want. Okay, I don't want a man like that. You know, I don't want a man like that. I don't want a man like that. But as I started to get a relationship with my uncle, I started to see the type of man that I do want. Yes, I want him to be like that. I want him to be like that. And so he was my cookie cutter, you know, for the type of husband that I want, that I eventually have now. You know.
You made it hard on that brother, though. I mean. Now, did your husband meet the uncle? He was like, man, I can't do you. I can't be honest with you.
Hey, I told him ahead of time, you know, this is...
So he knew?
He knew.
All right, then. Now I want to go to, Nyesha, your story, because your stepfather was all the difference. And look, we've heard stories where someone says, look, I'm not really trying to take on somebody else's children, or even where a mother would say, look, this is not your child, that you really can't say that. But in your case, your stepdad really stood in the gap and said, I'm going to treat you like you are absolutely my child and I'm your dad.
Right, you're absolutely right. It got to the point to where he was no longer a stepfather, he was just my father. And it wasn't just me, it was 4 kids total. He still to this day doesn't have any biological kids of his own. We are all that he knows, we're his children, he raised us. And I grew up with the love and the affection that him and my mom had shown. So I'm used to that. I want that, I need that, I love that. He was a positive, excellent example of a father. I didn't even miss my father because he was there. Every game, every kite flying event, drill team, he was there.
And of course, he's also right here. Give it up for our stepdad right here. Stand on up. Stand on up. Now, Antonio, what she described is what folks are supposed to do when you marry someone with children.
Exactly. You know, we always hear the phrase, it's a package deal. You know, and they were already in a fatherless situation, you know, and I think God just, you know, I lost my father when I was 11. You know, he died of cancer, smoking cigarettes and stuff. So I didn't really have that father touch, that compass, that guide myself, you know. So I think through my military experience and having impartations here and there allowed me to be able to give to them what they need. And I'm in an interracial marriage. So those kids don't even look like me, don't even come from my background. But I still love them. They call me dad. They accept me as dad. I'm there for, you know, when they skin the knee, Girl Scouts, football games, all that, you know. And the picture that me and my wife paint for them is we want them to see love. You know, we try not to argue in front of them. You know, it doesn't always work out that way. But we really try to give them a positive atmosphere and let them see, to the best of our ability, under God's grace and mercy, a functioning home, marriage, mother, father.
I want to bring in Bishop Jakes. Is it important that, in the cases Nyesha talked about and Antonio talked about, that the woman set the tone, that she makes it clear that, look, you're stepping in, these are your children, because we've seen those examples where even when they marry, someone will say, look, those aren't your kids, those are my kids. And that creates friction and a dynamic in a relationship where they are basically separated from, well, who gets the discipline and who doesn't.
I think it's very, very important that you discuss every aspect of the relationship. I think it's very, very important that they have a realistic picture, that you don't hide the children, that part of the dating process include his involvement with the children. And the other thing that we have not talked about that I think is of paramount importance, I don't want the single mothers to be so desperate after watching this show that they run out and get anything with a zipper on it to raise their children. Because 1 in 3 women in this country are molested between the ages of 5 and 15 by somebody who should have been loving them. So any man will not do. It has to be a man who has some ethics and some integrity and loves the children in a correct way.
All right. Well, Nyesha, Antonio, Shaneé, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.